tonight to the Georgia Doty Comprehensive Health Report. I am here, my name is Beverly Walker, and I am here with Paris Dawson, and we are talking about breast cancer this evening. Paris is, mother was a breast cancer survivor, and she's going to talk to us about some of the challenges and some of the issues that she had in terms of being her mother's caretaker.
Thank you, Beverly. Oh, how I wish my mother was a breast cancer survivor. I actually lost my mom to breast cancer in 2006. One thing I want to talk about is that, breast cancer and any disease is something that should not be held, as a secret. For my experience, I lost my mom due to secrecy. She held out that she had breast cancer for over a little of 4 years. We didn't find out till the last minute. She was in stage 4. At that time, we didn't know how serious stage 4 was. At least I didn't. A story that happened to me when I was in my mid-20s, I went to a job program, and one of the jobs was becoming a CNA. I did not want to do that job at all because of all of the things that I've heard. But I didn't know that God was preparing me to learn how to take care of my mother. This was years prior.
Okay.
I took that training and didn't know that I would need all of those skills to, be able to take care of my mother. She didn't want anyone else to take care of her. My mom had breast cancer and had a mastectomy in the right breast. It was removed. And the tumor shrunk. Everything was fine. And we thought that, everything was okay. She went back to some old habits. And once again, we didn't know. We didn't know any better. We learned as we went. And in the process of that, it came back and it spread it through her whole body. It went to her brain. It went to all of her organs. She had fluid buildup in her lungs, and once they, inserted a tube in her, that it just metastasized all through the body. So I just encourage all women out there to get your mammograms. If you're over 35, make sure you're getting your mammograms.
Okay, we want to welcome any callers that we may have. At this particular time, we don't have any. One of the things I want to take a minute to talk about the programs that the Georgia Doty program has. This health and job resource fairs. They do a prison reentry program as well, and they do a hepatitis train-the-trainer program. And those programs are done in churches and community area venues, as well as other places that you wouldn't even think. They're planning to go to the Armory for the National Guards and do some programs for veterans as well. Paris, can you tell me what advice would you have to someone who may be caring for a loved one?
Well, the advice that I would give is to always be attentive to that person's needs, to educate yourself, to learn how to diet. You have to change your diet. That's number one. You cannot be sick with that type of illness and continue bad habits of eating the same way and, not going to your regular doctor visits or seeing your oncologist. So, I would tell anyone, like in my situation, you have to educate yourself. Something that we did, and it was just a little too late for us. Okay. And, that hurts. I say now, this morning, this saying came to me that secrets kill. That's something that you have to discuss. You have to talk about it. If you feel like, that you may be vulnerable to cancer and you're scared to go get a checkup, I give that advice all day long. Don't be scared. Go and get checked out because it could be just a little too late. And in my case, that's what happened with us. And we're still struggling with that, and it's been since 2006 for us.
Okay, and I'm sure those type of that particular type of situation um, was able to help you be able to take care of somebody else.
Absolutely.
I know in many situations you have to be able to take care of yourself before you can take care of somebody else because it's very taxing.
Yes.
You know, it causes a lot of stress for some people. When people get sick, they're saying that they kind of act out towards the people that's caring for them. So you have to make sure that you're prepared for those kinds of things as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I definitely have my mammograms done regularly. I'm definitely due this month. I'm not scared. My first mammogram, I was very scared of that machine. It was intimidating. For the women that haven't had the mammograms, it is a little intimidating, but it's more intimidating to be lying there sick trying to battle that. So I encourage all women over the age of 35 to have those mammograms done regularly.
Yeah, we want people to go and do the mammograms. And one of the things is that a lot of people don't know what programs or what hospitals offer those services.
Yes.
You know, and we kind of recommend that you research that information so you know what hospitals in the community or what clinics you can go to in order to have those services performed.
Yeah, I know every Wednesday they do free mammograms out in Harvey, Illinois, Ingalls Hospital. They do free mammograms on Wednesdays, every Wednesday.
Okay. And all right. So just want to make sure that everybody understands that they are watching the Georgia Doty report on comprehensive health. We have a website. The website information is www.georgia.doty.org. And it's the HIV and Hepatitis Community Outreach Incorporated program. So, if you had to do this again, do you think you'd be able to do it?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
I would do it a different way.
Okay.
I would have extended all my resources.
Okay, we have a caller on the line. Is the caller still there? Okay, which button am I supposed to push?
Yes.
All right.
Good evening. You know, this is a great show. A great, great show. You know, I wanted to ask you if there's even an inkling that someone in your family or your friends or somebody you know might have cancer. The best thing, do you think that you should drag them to the doctor if you have to go get that test? Because I lost a sister to it, and my younger sister has had a double mastectomy. So please tell these people, if you have an inkling, get to the doctor, drag them, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I can answer that.
Sure.
It's detrimental that they be taken to the doctor first sight. In my case, again, my mother told us that she had a very, very small bump on her right breast. And in the same breath, you know, she laughed about it and said she was just kidding. So we didn't take it seriously. And she's no longer with us. It metastasized bigger than your fists. So absolutely, if a person says that or they even think that, take them to the doctor, even if it's against their will, because that would be on your conscience for the rest of your life, a change that you could have made in that person's life.
Yeah, one of the things we want to do is to make sure people are actually aware and that they're actually going to the doctor on a regular basis. If you go to the doctor can make sure that you are getting the checkups that you need to get, the various screenings And so make sure that you call your doctor and ask for those screenings, even if you don't know what they are. We're going to be, we have another guest that we're going to bring on. We want to thank Paris Dawson for coming in with this information that she has shared with other individuals. So we will bring on the other guest now.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Switch up. Don't ask me no questions. Okay. I am now here with Miss Nadine Willis, who is with Sisters Working It Out, and she has some information for us today.
I sure do. First, I'd like to just share a little bit of my testimony, if I may, Beverly.
Sure.
I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2007, and it was really scary. And after that diagnosis, I did undergo chemotherapy and radiation. I also had a radical mastectomy of the right breast. I had the breast removed, and I currently wear prosthesis. I didn't want reconstruction. I also wear a band because I was diagnosed with lymphedema, because they had to remove some lymph glands. And I do want to say that, you know, I attribute my life to the power of God and the people I go to church with. They prayed for me. My husband, who passed away, was really instrumental in helping me, you know, changing the tubes and just encouraging me through the battle. It is scary, but there is life after the diagnosis. You have breast cancer, and once you overcome the fear and hear the plan of treatment, then you can, with the help of some friends, helping to navigate the situation, you can move through successfully through this. It's important, as you know, Paris said, and as you've said, to get your mammograms early, because early detection is your best protection. And one thing the organization that I'm with, Sisters Working It Out, is really concerned about is getting the word out to the African American community, women in the community, making sure they get their breast exams, making sure they understand how to examine their breast and get familiar with their breast, so if there are changes in their breast, they are able to communicate those changes to their doctors. And that's really important. So Sisters Working It Out was founded by Dr. Monica Peak in 2001, and it's now Beulah Brent, the president of Sisters Working It Out, is now at the helm of this organization. And we go into the community talking to women at churches. This weekend we were actually at a hair salon on 95th Street. The Infinity Salon opened up for us, and we talked to about 40 or 50 women that day. And they had food for us, and we got to share with the women the importance of getting mammograms. One thing I want to say about the mammograms is, if a woman in your family, your mom or your grandmother, has been diagnosed at the age of 50, 10 years before that, at age 40, you all should start getting mammograms in your family. If they were diagnosed at age 30, at 20 years, you should start looking at getting some treatment, making sure that your breasts are okay, because sometimes it might run in the family, and you want to get that taken care of as early as possible. Another thing I'd like to, one thing we also do at SWEO, I'm in school. I'm one of the individuals who's part of SWEO's health education program, and it's a 12-week program where we're taught about breast cancer, breast health, and other kinds of issues that impact women of color. And not only women of color, we work with Hispanic women. Any woman that we come in contact with, we let them know that it's really important to get their mammograms. But what we found with the black women in the black community is fewer black women were being diagnosed, but more black women were dying of the disease. So it's really important that we get that word out so that we can help more black women save their lives, because we want them to be, instrumental in raising their families, being instrumental in being positive forces for their communities. You can only do that if you're alive. So don't be afraid to go in to find out, what's going on with your body. I like to recommend the self-breast exams, because you can get familiar with your breast and any changes that are going on in your breast, so you can communicate those changes to your doctor. If I may continue. Yes. SWEO is having, on November the 4th, we're having a Day of Beauty, and that's going to be November the 4th from 10 to 3 at Liberty Temple Full Gospel Church here in Chicago. And that event is for all cancer survivors. We're going to have speakers. We're going to have free food, manicures, and it's just a day to encourage anyone who's experienced breast cancer, or not only breast cancer, but any type of cancers. We're welcoming men and women to come out.
I see there's a caller on the line. Caller, you have a question or a comment?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, I do. I'd like to know, what is the incidence of men getting breast cancer? Do we examine our chest the same as women examine theirs?
Men should examine their breasts. I think I recognize that
Yeah.
caller's voice. Men should, and men have been diagnosed with breast cancer. As a matter of fact, a famous person that was diagnosed with breast cancer was Richard Roundtree, who played Shaft. He was diagnosed with breast cancer, and he actually had, his breast removed. But certainly, I don't know the numbers, but I can find out the numbers for you and get back with you, sir, and let you know. But certainly, if men notice changes in their breast, if you notice your nipple is inverted or you notice a discharge or something like that, you certainly need to talk to your doctor about that.
Yeah, breast cancer is not only an illness that affects women, it also affects men as well. So as women are going in to have a mammogram, men need to also make sure that they talk with their doctors and get whatever checkups it is that they would need in order for early detection. The one thing that you don't want is to wait until it's too late and you become ill. That sets off a whole nother issue of issues that people have to deal with, because it's emotional. You have to make sure that you're taking care of yourself as you're going through these treatments as well. And early detection is is the best for you.
Exactly.
So, Ms. Willis,
Yes.
how has it been for you now? A lot of times when people are diagnosed with various illnesses, they go through shame and they feel like they're being stigmatized. Have you experienced any of those issues?
No, I really didn't. I felt I had a lot of support. My husband was very supportive. My son, Stephen Willis, was very supportive. The people at church were really supportive. A lot of people were praying for me. I really believe that the power of prayer is so important. And I know that people get prayed for, and sometimes they pass away. And, I don't know why some people live and some people die. But I do know that when you do get a chance to live some more years, I just believe that we need to take those years and just be grateful to God for them. Just love our families, be more loving, do the things that just live a good life, live a life of service to others and encourage others, and just be grateful, because you know that you didn't have to be here, because people do die from breast cancer and other diseases. So we should all just be grateful for our lives and live a life of love. But I never felt, my husband said something to me, and he recently passed away, but he told me that he asked God to allow him to love me more with the bald head and the missing breast than he had ever before. And I really believe he did that. And it's so important to have a spouse, have family members who are supportive of you and who treat you the same, because you're basically the same person, the same personality, and you're just a little piece of you might be missing, but it doesn't diminish who you are as a woman or as a person. And it's so good to have people in your life that will affirm you regardless of what you're going through relative to that.
Right, yeah. I think it's communicating. It's best to communicate with people. I know people who have suffered shame. I remember talking to a young lady about 5 or 6 months ago who was telling me that she had breast cancer. And then she started crying. And I said to her, "Why are you crying? You're only as sick as the secrets you keep." So after that, she said, "You're right." And she started talking about it. Once she started talking about it to other people, she said she felt a whole lot better. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so that makes a lot of sense. But I know that people feel bad because they've lost their hair. Mm-hmm.
Hair grows back.
Exactly, it grows back. Mine has been growing for a year. I'm getting ready to cut it off again.
And you're a survivor as well.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
But you can if you make sure that you communicate with people, go to your doctor, talk to your doctor. A lot of times we go to the doctor and we're afraid to ask questions. Just ask the questions. The doctor can only give you recommendations and tell you what it is that they feel that you should do in order for you to extend your life and live a very good life. So, you know, we want to make sure that this information gets out in the community. As Paris said before, she had to make sure that she took care of herself. A lot of times you go to the doctor say lose weight, you need to do this, you need to do that, take vitamins, take this medicine, take that medicine. But most of all, I think we need to make sure that we're actually doing what we need to do to help ourselves so that we can live healthy.
And speaking of health, there are certain foods that you probably want to eat more of. You probably want to eat more fruits and vegetables. If you go online, you can find the names of foods that help fight cancers. Kale, collards, they call them the cruciferous vegetables. Those are good fighters. Blueberries, and you know the studies are coming out more and more, and you'll find different foods, mostly vegetables or fruits, that really help you fight cancer. And try to keep a healthy weight. You know, drink plenty of water, get your rest, avoid stress. You know, those kinds of things are always helpful in
because
fighting cancer.
when if you're not eating the right kinds of foods, then your body becomes very sluggish. You want to make sure, and then there are other, you know, body functions that help us live better. You know, so you want to make sure that you're eating right so that all of your body parts function as they should be functioning. And then you have more energy to do some things. You want to make sure that you read up on various topics of various illnesses so that you know what to expect. When you go to the doctor, then you know you can ask the doctor various questions.
Speaking of the doctor, it's sometimes helpful, especially when you're diagnosed, to take a friend with you, because you may be so freaked out
Right.
by the diagnosis that you may not be paying attention. So I had people go with me who were being attentive, asking questions, recording the information, so that when I was a little more peaceful about it, that I could make the right
make sense of it,
decisions.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Can I tell them something else?
Sure.
Okay, the Day of Beauty, you all, it's going to be Saturday, November the 4th from 10 to 3. And part of what we're going to do in the Day of Beauty is we're going to give people who need wigs free wigs. So we're currently having a wig drive, and you can drop any new wigs off at Fifth Third Bank on Stony Island, Liberty Temple for Gospel Church at 2233 West on 79th Street, the House of Glamour at 19109 Crawford Avenue in Flossmoor, Illinois. Please do that for us so that we can be a blessing to the women that come out for the Day of Beauty on November the 4th. The event is free. Please come out. Bring all survivors you know and their support systems, the individuals that work with them. They're welcome to come as well.
Let me ask you, did you ever go to a support group?
No, I didn't, and part of the reason is because the church was so supportive.
Okay.
You know, the prayer, you know, my husband praying, and just I had that kind of help, so I didn't at all, and I didn't feel that I missed anything, but I think that's helpful if you don't have a strong support system.
Okay.
And I didn't really know how supportive the church was until I went through some things, and I found, you just don't even know what being involved in a spiritual house. And I go to Liberty Temple for Gospel Church since I'm at it. Apostle Clifford Turner is the founder, and Apostle Sherane Lathan is our pastor. But they believe in healing. They believe in going to doctors and taking medicine. And it was just they were so supportive, and they prayed for us all the time.
Okay. One of the, again, I want to click on the services that the Georgia Doty HIV and Hepatitis Community Outreach Program offers to the community. And I also want to indicate that our website is www.georgiadotyinc.org. The contact number is 312-282-1375. If you have any questions in regards to any of the information that has been discussed on the show tonight, you want to make sure that you call that number. Again, that number is 312-282-1375 to make sure that you can get the additional information if it's needed.
Can they also call that number to find out about our Day of Beauty?
They will also be able to call that number to get the information. That you have for the wig giveaway and the Day of Beauty for that particular event. I think it's a good service that's being offered. A lot of times people don't know what it is that they want, but if they can actually come out and experience some of those things, that's good. That's a good
Thank
thing.
you for having us. I so appreciate it.
Thank you for
Thank you.
coming. I also want to thank Paris Dawson for coming in, talking about